Hello YouTube, my name is Ryuna. Today I come to you with a simple question. Have you ever looked at an exhaust pipe and thought to yourself, damn, that looks hot? If that's the case, then don't worry, I've got you covered. Because today I will show you how you can easily replicate this effect. I'm going to use 3 different contrast paints, and I'll be painting a thermal spear, which is a weapon that goes on a knight Armiger from Warhammer. We're going to start off with a contrast paint called Guilliman Flesh. We've already pre-painted the weapon in silver, so that is going to be our base coat. More specifically, this is a layer paint from Citadel called Ryunaauriva Steel. This gives us a nice base layer from which to start painting on with our contrast paints. I'm using a little paper towel to basically wipe off any wet paint that I use normally. Also, watch out with contrast paint bottles, or basically any Games Workshop bottle. Don't knock them over. The effects could be catastrophic. So while you excuse my paranoia of me constantly closing my contrast bottles, I will now start stippling the contrast paint on our little gun right here. I roughly estimate from which point of the barrel the brownish color kind of starts, and I will start painting from there. Alright, enough yapping, time to slap on that contrast paint. Also, don't ask me why I have a piece of cardboard with all sorts of masking tape sticking to it. Just don't worry about it. Alright, I've painted the first part of the barrel. Now we can move on to our second contrast paint. Voluptuous Pink. I'm going to layer this color over the first color that I applied a bit, as well as further to the end of the barrel. I start stippling again over the part that we just painted and further towards the end of the barrel. The further we go towards the end of the barrel, the darker the colors are going to become. I know that I'm obstructing the view a bit with my big meaty hands, but I'm filming this from a tripod with my phone. Maybe I can upgrade my broke-ass setup later down the line if I can get some sponsors. Who knows? So now that our two colors are blended together, we can move on to our third and final contrast paint that we'll be using for today. It is a color called Achillean Green, which funnily enough is actually a very saturated kind of blue, which will be perfect for our chrome-ish looking effect that we're going for. One extra step that you can do after this, and that is applying a bit of black to the very end of the barrels to simulate the burnt effect of the, well, gun firing. As you can see later, it's not exactly necessary, but it might be something that you would prefer. Again, it's mostly up to taste in my opinion. Alright, I'm going to speed things up again. If you liked the video, hit all those buttons and share the video with your second dad. By the way, I lied. I use a fourth contrast color called ultramarine blue. I'm going to use this as this is a more darker color than the Achillean Green, and I'm going to slap this onto the very end of the barrel. I just think this looks nice and creates a smoother transition at the end. The end of the barrel should be your darkest color. Basically, you go from light stippling to an almost black at the very end. Alright, we're nearing the end and our effect is already starting to look pretty neat. We just need to take care of the end of the barrel now. Throughout this process, you kind of need to take care that you don't completely overshadow the older color with the newer color that you're applying. You need to take care to gently sort of create a layer just over a part of the older color. Alright, I think I'm pretty much done. There is one thing, however, the pink color isn't nearly as pronounced as I want it to be, so I'm going to go back and reapply a bit more of the pink color in the middle. While doing this, I make sure that I don't completely overshadow the brown contrast paint that is underneath. We need to make sure that there's still a proper transition as well between these two effects. Alright, now this is starting to look really good. I think we're almost done. I'd like to thank you for staying with me so far. And let's go on and see what the final result will be. Also, it completely slipped my mind that for this version I also applied some black paint to the very edges of the barrels. As you can see, I'm using a dry brush for this. I can discuss dry brushing in a later video if you like. But yeah, I think that's the final step. So now I dry brush the edges and that's it. If you want to see me paint a full Armiger, or if you have any suggestions or improvements for this recipe, please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you all next time. Ryuna out.